Good morning, everyone. As Andrew has introduced me, my name is Richard Wiley from Tourism KZN. I work in the research unit at Tourism KZN where we do a variety of projects. And one of the ones that I've taken on board is this baseline study for the development of hunting tourism in KwaZulu-Natal. It has come from the KwaZulu-Natal Tourism Master Plan that was written or developed by EDTEA, Economic Development, Environmental Affairs and Tourism. And as part of the master plan is the need to do more research and to create more of a baseline for niche markets in the province. Already there's been a couple of reports done on that have been published by our research unit on AV tourism, beach tourism, and adventure tourism. I think it was about last year, September, October, I took on this project, and it has been quite a lengthy project compared to the others. The main reason why is because I've introduced the survey, which I'll discuss just now. So basically, the study just looks at a bit of background research in terms of hunting and hunting tourism, the hunting sector. I look at it from an international perspective, international best practice examples. Some of the countries that I've looked at have been Australia and Canada. Canada being a very useful one because they have a lot of cross-border tourism with the United States. And the United States, just like South Africa, have a very big tradition with the father taking the son for his first hunt, and it's ingrained in to the culture of either the Americans or the Afrikaners and English-speaking South Africans in this country. So basically, I zoom down into Southern Africa, look at what our neighbors are doing and what some of our neighbors aren't doing as well. I then look at South Africa as a whole and then zoom in to obviously the province of KZN to look at the baseline research, looking at the current trends, past trends, predicting future trends, also looking at opportunities and challenges that are facing the development of hunting tourism in the province. So this is just a little value chain to show what the hunting industry or hunting sector does for the province, for the country, for whatever country you're looking at. I'll get to it just now, but you all know the unfortunate story of everyone going after the dentist who killed Cecil the lion. And there was calls for the hunting tourism sector to be taken down, banned, etc. So if you do that, take away the hunting industry, take away other industries along with it. But you're not only doing that, you're also taking down the tourism sector. Because you're taking down accommodation establishments, because if you think about it, a lot of hunting takes place in rural areas, there's not much around, okay? So your accommodation establishments thrive on those tourists coming in to shoot animals. You're taking away your restaurants, your other food and beverage outlets, on the way to the farms, etc. Taking away transport, the transport industry, because you're not only stopping people from traveling more, you also are stopping the local transport, such as shuttles, that sort of stuff that the local community could thrive on because of the hunting tourism. And you're also taking away the benefits that are accrued to the local communities, and thus the tourism sector will fall. Fees must fall as well. So just a bit of background. I won't bore you too much with a lot of the content. It is quite a long study, so I'm just touching on the basic points. I also look at the social impacts of hunting tourism, what it does with community-based tourism leading to community-based natural resource management. And then in addition to that, look at a bit of background to how many jobs are created in the hunting industry. Unfortunately, as many people that work in government know, that some data is not readily available to us, mainly because they see us as government employees. We're coming to interrogate them and they won't give us their data. So when I get to the survey later, one of the key aspects that is missing in the study is how many people are employed in the hunting sector, particularly in KZN. So I discussed some of the challenges, one of them being, Cecil the line, public outcry, people labeling the hunting industry as the bad guys, okay? But what this study is trying to do is to try and remove these challenges and try to paint hunting tourism. Yes, you'll still have your tree huggers and your activists that are totally against it and won't listen to anyone. But what this study is trying to do is to try to paint it in a more positive light and show that hunting tourism is not mean or cruel. It's actually contributing to the conservation of wildlife as well as socioeconomic development. But along with these challenges, we have a number of opportunities. KZN as a province has a number of wildlife resources, wildlife areas. I mean, those aren't all of them, just a few. But we have those, we have the destinations, we have the infrastructure ready. KZN is also home to a number of great 5-star, 4-star, even your 3-star establishments are rated as some of the best accommodation establishments in the country and in the province. We've also got a conservation authority as well as other associations and arms that help to contribute to the legalization and conservation of wildlife for hunting tourism in the province. So now getting on to the hunting tourism survey. Just a bit of background, I won't bore you too much. We do a lot of event impact assessments at Tourism KZN. We do the Mid-Mile Mile, Doozy Canoe Marathon, Comrades Marathon, and the Amashova, as well as a whole lot of other ad hoc events. From those methodologies, I thought, hang on, can't we apply some of the survey questions, some of the things that we ask in the survey to a niche market to determine what is the actual value of hunting tourism and what are the profile of these visitors, of these hunting tourists. So I started the survey. As you can see, there's very few responses at the moment. That's the reason why the study is taking so long. I am currently working with the KZN Hunting and Conservation Association to increase the number of responses. So these findings are by no means final. They are preliminary, but it's basically also a pilot study to say, can we actually measure the value of a niche market? Like I said, the survey is currently ongoing. There has been a lot of online responses, but what we found with events as well is that you only truly get responses when you're talking to someone face to face. We all know you get an email, please answer the survey. It's easy to push delete. When you've got someone in front of you asking if you can answer a survey, you feel a bit more inclined to say, okay, hang on, I'll give you 5 minutes of my time and answer your survey. So that's some of the strategies that we will be doing in the next month. I will have a couple of meetings and stuff set up to do a lot of surveys. So the main objectives of the study is to get the profile of hunting tourists, their spend patterns, and eventually the economic value of hunting tourism. So if I can just go through the results with you. Now, we asked them, in the area that the hunt took place, were you a local resident or were you a visitor? Okay. Now, a visitor is bringing in new money to an area, whether it's a local town, municipality, or province. Okay. Because if you think about it, for example, you live and work in Pietermaritzburg or the Umsumduzi municipality. Okay. You go down to Durban to the beach for the day. You spend money on lunch, etc. Okay. You are then bringing new money into a new local municipality. Okay. That is why we needed to figure out how many people are actually visitors to the area and how many people are locals. Because a local, if you're spending money at your local supermarket or money at Scottsville Racecourse or Golden Horse Casino or wherever you go, okay, that money is from the local economy, staying within the local economy and just stimulating that local economy. Whereas a visitor is bringing in brand new money, okay. So that's the reason why we look at the difference between local visitors local residents and visitors. But then, when you break it down further, almost all of the visitors stayed overnight, which is extremely positive. One, because they're paying accommodation costs. They have to eat, okay? And normally, we'll see just now, when they're staying overnight for a hunting trip, they're staying more than one night, okay? Therefore, their spend is potentially higher. When you look at where they're coming from, these are visitors from outside of KZN, okay? You can see a lot of them are coming from other provinces within South Africa, okay? Now, the reason why there's no international data is because we've purely been interviewing domestic tourists, okay? Mainly due to the accessibility to these tourists as well. Then your length of stay. Average length of stay is about 3 to 4 nights for a hunting trip, which is extremely positive. That's 3 nights of accommodation, okay? If you think about it, the average cost of accommodation these days, whether it's self-catering or full board, is ranging between, 600, 1,500 Rand, even more at your luxury lodges, okay? So times that by 3 or 4, you've already got an extensive amount of money coming into that local area. So now let's get to the business end of the survey. Domestic tourists in KZN, as it stands with our preliminary findings, spends on average 37,500 per trip, okay? The average length of stay, as I said, is 3.5 nights, which means they're spending at least 10,000, 11,000 Rand a day. Okay? To break that down, they're spending close to 7,000, 8,000 Rand on accommodation. Their transport, again, our transport is your local transport. Main reason for this is because the money you pay on a ticket to come to KZN, that money is staying, elsewhere. Whereas your local transport, you're filling up fuel, and we all know that most hunters have a big bucky who eats petrol, okay? So you're not just filling up once and going the whole trip with one tank of petrol, okay? Food and beverages, a lot of them, I didn't show it, but in the study, a lot of people do camp or stay in self-catering accommodation. Therefore, their food and beverages price or spend is obviously a lot higher. Now, your meat processing and trophy fees, those are your fees that you're paying, obviously, to shoot the animal, to take it home, that sort of thing. That's probably the highest contributor in terms of spend. Permit fees, hunting costs is also very high. Gear and ammunition. Now, this is also based on what they've spent in the area of their hunt, okay? It's not what they've bought in Johannesburg or Cape Town or wherever. It's if there's a local shop in the area or on the way to their hunting farm, that's what they've spent there. Gate fees obviously is quite low. Sometimes people are staying on the reserve, they're not paying a gate fee, whereas other day visitors will obviously be paying a gate fee. And other expenses, some of it's not listed, but it's just basically trying to see, are we missing out on any other items of spend? Now, here is what it's worth. So it was estimated by a study by NWU that there are approximately 300,000 hunters in South Africa. The percentage of those hunters that come to KZN to hunt is only about 5%. Therefore, that means there are about 15,000 hunters coming to KZN. Now, from the survey, we got that on average, a hunter takes about 3 trips per year. So that is therefore 45,000 hunting trips. Now, if I can just sidetrack a bit, international tourism we measure as an international tourist. Domestic tourism we measure as domestic trips. Because if you think about yourself, in a year, you don't just go away once within South Africa. Okay, in the current economy, you're probably suffering, but normally you're going at least 2-3 times a year. If you think about it, you got Easter, you got July holidays, you got December, you got relatives' birthdays that you're traveling for, that sort of stuff. So that's why we measure domestic tourism, and the same counts here in the number of trips. So plug it into a computer, whatever you want to do, but we end up with an estimate, a direct economic impact of 1.7 billion Rand, okay? Direct economic impact means that is the money straight from a tourist pocket into the hunting sector, okay? Indirect economic impact, we use what is called a multiplier of 2.0, and that is to basically show that money spent is therefore contributing to someone else's business. That business person will then take that same amount of money and spend it on their livelihoods, their families, what they need to eat, or also put it straight back into their business. Okay. Now, the overall economic impact is where you take the direct impact, combine it with the indirect impact, you get an estimated amount of 5.1 billion rand. Okay. Now, if you can read the little note at the bottom, what I've said is that it is considered to be extremely conservative. Okay. Reason being is I have not included what is called induced impacts. An induced impact is your things like the number of jobs that are created, okay? And of those jobs, what are those people's salaries, okay? Because your workers or your employees are earning a salary, they are then be able to support their family and thus spend more money in the local economy, once again stimulating the local economy. So eventually the study is aiming to promote KZN because it has the potential to be developed into one of the best hunting destinations in South Africa. We have the Tourism Authority, we have the Conservation Authority, we have the resources, we have the destinations. We have all sorts of organizations that just need to work together to promote hunting tourism as not the bad guys shooting poor little animals, okay? It's a sector and an industry that is contributing billions of rand to the local economies. Thank you very much.